Hi Cancer, this is Jody with Soul Purpose Tarot. I am in Carmel, Indiana. I am a Libra Sun, Capricorn Rising, Sagittarius Moon. If you have been here before, welcome back. If you are new to the channel, what I normally do is let flip, fly, or fall anywhere from 5 to 7 tarot cards. Take a look at that. Are we looking at life, love, or career? And then clarify with various oracle decks. So we've already had 2 come out. And the first one was the Moon, and then the Fool card came out. So the Moon is usually about illusions, and the Fool card is making a fresh start. So I'm thinking that you had some, what I'm hearing is, I feel like I'm hearing artificial dreams. You had some artificial dreams. You had some dreams that were illusions more than anything. Hopes that some things were going to turn out, but for whatever reason, at this point in time, you're starting to doubt that. So let's see what else is going on. You're starting to question. Let's take that one. The Six of Cups came up. Okay, Cancer, what's going on for the first half of May for Cancer? Let's take that one. That's the King of Wands in the reverse, not moving forward, and the Empress in the upright. So it feels like you were waiting on somebody. You've been waiting on somebody to do something, and you finally decided, you know what, I'm tired of waiting on that person, those people, that job offer, that whatever, and I'm gonna go about this, and make my 10 of Cups on my own. And the Magician card in reverse. Okay, so let's think about this. So the Moon card in upright would be about illusions. The Fool card would be about moving forward away from those illusions. Six of Cups is just kind of moving forward from some stagnant emotions that you've had. And the King of, I feel like this is the person you were waiting on. You were waiting on someone, a masculine perhaps, to do something, and you finally gave up. You decided, if I'm going to be an Empress on my own and I'm going to make my 10 of Cups, then I'm going to have to figure out, and because the Magician card is in the reverse position, you're like, I'm going to have to figure out how to make this magic on my own. You haven't figured it out yet. But whatever the case is, let me just kind of go in here. So whatever the case is, the person, the business, the job offer, whatever you were waiting to have happen, you have decided, I'm done waiting. I've given that dream ample opportunity to manifest itself. It's not doing it on its own. It's time I move forward and either make a new dream or make my 10 of Cups come forward on my own. Whatever the case is, you have moved away from waiting on something or someone. That is the theme of this reading. So let's see if emotionally what exactly prompted this. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, one, I think this indicates to me with the Afraid card in the reverse position, in the past you were afraid, and that might have been why you stayed with that dream for a long. You thought this was going to be the thing that was going to fix all your problems, and you stayed with this dream for a long time. Like, what am I wanting to say? Like you were waiting on that knight in shining armor to save you from yourself, or save you from whatever, financial ruin, or whatever this you were waiting on to save your ass. You finally were like going, you're not afraid anymore. That's why that's in the reverse position. So it's like you're moving forward, and powerless in the reverse position means that you are moving forward from being powerless. So for whatever case, whatever your illusions were, it was, it feels like you just decided that you have put enough time, effort, energy into something that was not coming to fruition. And you're like, I'm out of here. I'm moving forward. I got to make this happen on my own. I've wasted enough time, energy, money, maybe. I don't know. Whatever the case is. Thoughts. Name your word there. Whatever you have wasted enough time on, you're moving on out of that. And I feel like I'm here. I feel like I'm hearing the song from the Jeffersons, that the theme song, moving on up to the east side. So yeah, I'm not a singer. You are now feeling hopeful, because I feel like for a long time you were like kind of, it put you in a funk because of waiting, and it made you feel very out of control, because you had put your control in somebody else's hands, and you're like, now you're like, I'm taking charge of my own life. I feel much more hopeful, optimistic about where I'm going now, because I'm the one that's rowing this boat and pulling this boat, or I'm the one that's making this happen instead of waiting on someone else to kind of just rescue you. I guess you are no longer waiting to be rescued. You're going to make your own stuff. And so you are excited about your future. For the first time in a long time, I feel like you are excited about your future because you have decided to take charge of your own life. What else is going on with Cancer for the first half of May? You have turned a corner, a good corner. Sad showed up. So I'm not saying that you've got everything all figured out or you have all the kinks worked out. But occasionally you do think about that old life or old version of your life that you had, and it does make you kind of sad. And that's one of the reasons that you held on to it for so long. It was like, I feel like you put all your eggs in one basket for a long time. And now you're like going, they weren't hatching. I've got to move on. But every once in a while, you think about how life was in your head going to be. And panicky. Again, I'm not saying you have everything figured out. So I feel like you're still, even though you have turned a corner, you still emotionally go back and forth between old and new. And the panicky part would be kind of like, oh my God, this is a lot of responsibility. How am I going to make this happen? It's all up to me now. And while it's exciting and full, you know, it's kind of, it's new. It's not something you've got quite figured out. Every once in a while, you're kind of like, you know, you might hyperventilate because you're like going, oh my God, can I do this by myself? I feel like whatever you're doing, I got cards coming out. Okay, so I got 3 cards there. I don't want all of those. I feel like you are trying to work on creating things with a new version, a new updated version, I'm like, why? I feel like I want to say a new coloring book. It's like you went out and bought a new coloring book with new dreams and new visions, and you're going to start coloring in that coloring book because the old coloring book was full, and you kind of, it served its purpose, but it's time to manifest some new stuff in your life. Confused in the reverse position. You are no longer confused. You are no longer confused about what you need to do. You are formulating a plan. You are in the process of formulating a plan about this new future that you're going into. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I did this for another reading. I want to know from the universe, what blocks did you clear? What blocks did you clear? My shirt's all crooked. What blocks did you clear that made you able to move forward? What blocks did you clear that made you make this decision to move forward? What blocks did you clear that kind of kept you stuck in the old, that has got you out of the old and into the new? What blocks did you clear? That seems to be the theme for the first part of May, is people have cleared a lot of blocks and they have kind of walked away from some old stories. And I want to know what old stories you walked away from. That's what I want to know. I want to know that one. What old stories are now old stories and no longer a part of your day-to-day life? Although it may crop in every once in a while, what stories have you given up? Do I want all those? I feel like I do. All right, so let's see what old stories you have given up. You have given up divine timing? I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that is what you gave up on. I feel like this is more of a, you were trying to make the timing your timing, and you finally gave up your timing and you finally handed it over to divine and let it be whatever divine timing, kind of like, if it's going to work out, it'll work out whenever divine wants it to. In the meantime, I'm going to move forward with another plan. So I feel like before, you had this like certain time in your mind of like, I'm going to, it's going to happen. For instance, you're 20. I'm going to graduate. I'm going to find somebody by 25. I'm going to be married by 28. And then I'm going to have my first baby at 32. And I'm going to have my second baby at 35. And then we're going to buy a house. And then we're going to have a boat. Where, it's like you had all of these things laid out in your head. And you finally gave up your timing and let divine timing take over, is where that is. Because there's no way that you give up on divine timing. I feel like you also gave up on that commitment with that person, or getting a commitment from whoever. That's part of what you gave up on, was like, I think you had dreams and hopes that maybe there was a person in your life that you thought you were going to marry. Whatever the case is, you finally gave up on that dream, commitment to that dream, and you are moving forward. What else did you give up on? Conclusion. I think you gave up on ever getting closure with it. I feel like that's one of the reasons that you hung on for so long, was because you never had closure. You never had them say, I don't want to be with you. You never had them say, we hired someone else for the job. You never had any closure, and you finally gave up on having closure and a conclusion, and that you had to come to that in your own head without their help and just move forward. What else have you given up on? Thinking about it. You have given up on thinking about it. That's contemplation. What else have you given up on? You have given up on your family understanding why you waited around for this person for so long. What else have you given up on? If you've given up on refocusing, let me think about this. Refocusing. This does not feel like something that you have given up on. This feels like something that you have just decided to do, is like you're just going to focus on something else. For the moment, at least. Winter. And the winter card is, for some reason, it feels like you thought something was going to happen by the winter months, and it is now spring. It is May 1st as I do this, and you're kind of like, I have given up on anything happening because I just was sure it was going to happen by the winter time, and now that it hasn't, it's like, it's time to move on. I've got to give this dream up. I've got to get moving on. I've got to quit sitting around twiddling my thumbs. All right, what else does the universe have to say about this situation that you have decided to leave behind and focus on? All right, do I want all of those? I want this. No, there's way too many cards there. I want that one. And that one. And that one. And that one. And nope. That one. Okay. So, this is final words from the universe about this situation of you leaving something behind and moving forward. Positive-minded people. Okay, as you move forward, they're telling you, make sure you get yourself around some positive-minded people. I feel like that might be one of the things that you are leaving behind, is some negativity and negative thinking people. You're leaving those behind and moving forward, and you're like, man, I got to get some new people in my life. I've got to get some people that understand me, that I can talk to, that are on my side. I feel like my hair's standing on end all of a sudden too. Awareness. You have a new awareness about leaving old programming. You're aware that your old thinking, the old way of thinking was like the old paradigm, the old programming, and you are aware now that, okay, so you're kind of like, they're like, don't beat yourself up that you stayed where you were as long as you did, because you didn't know any better, and you weren't aware that the universe is kind of there to help you manifest the dreams you wanted. You thought this was what the universe wanted for you, or you thought this was going to be your 10 of cups, but you were like, no, apparently the universe has something bigger and better for you. Unconditional love. Part of growing as a person is having unconditional love, and I feel like this is a two-part thing. One, having unconditional love for yourself and not beating yourself up for sticking in a situation longer than you should have. So if you've left a person behind, a partnership behind, just basically send them your love and say, you know what, I have no hard feelings. You helped me grow as a person. Now it's time for me to move forward, and I wish you the best. That's where unconditional love comes in, for yourself and for other people. Take the soul lesson that came along and move on. Mental repetition. This brings me to the fact that you're going to have to really, really, really work on keeping positive thoughts in your head. Because I feel, like I said, there's going to be times when you're sad. There's going to be some times when you're panicky about this new life that you are heading towards, and it could get overwhelming at times because it's unfamiliar. So just make sure that you keep as many positive thoughts in your head as possible, and every once in a while there's going to be some negative things that crop up. Let them in, let them out, get them out as quickly as possible. And the last thing is sincere relationships. I feel like they're saying, again, this came up in something else. Oh, in your family thing. Giving up people that don't support you. And I feel like this is them saying, you know, there are people out there that you will have sincere relationships with. It will not be everybody. And I also, for some reason, I feel like they're saying beware of, what is it? I feel like beware of some sneaky people. Because I feel like on this new path that you're going down, there's going to be some creepy people coming in and going, ooh, I want a piece of the action. Ooh, I want to know what she's doing or he's doing now, because all of a sudden things are starting to work out in her favor. And what I feel like is you may have some psychic vampires that try to attach to your energy. So be careful with the people that you surround yourself with, and make sure those people that want to spend time with you are sincere and they're not just out for their own good. For whatever reason, I feel like that could be an issue as you move forward into this new way of thinking. You're going to have to cut loose some people that used to be in your life from the old days that were not beneficial to this new you. So just be aware about that. So I will see you guys middle of May. We'll see how this new journey that you're on is working, and if you've cut loose some old people, and if you are starting to get near your 10 of Cups. Thanks. Bye.